we are having this the 104th webinar, and this particular webinar on precast construction is being co-partnered along with Builders Association of India. What has happened is that this is the only platform wherein we can in fact share on various aspects of construction. In fact, over the last few months, we have had various programs, various talks by various speakers on blended cement, on concreting practices, on reinforcement detailing, on smart cities, on geotechnical engineering. So various aspects we had. So in fact, we are very happy to have Mr. Surya Prakash from Hyderabad, who is the ex-president of ACCEI, as well as the managing director of Satyavani Projects, who has had a number of experience in conducting number of expert programs. And we also have Mr. Devarajan from URC Construction, a well-known construction firm which is involved in the construction of various infrastructure projects and also associated with metro as well as smart city projects. So we are very happy to have you, sir. Mr. Sethu Ramalingam, sir, of Builders Association of India. In fact, as all of us know, Builders Association of India is a massive professional body with over 1 lakh members, 200 chapters, and almost 20,000 companies being a part of this mega professional body. So with those few words, let me request Mr. Sethu Ramalingam, sir, to start off with his few words on the subject of today. Over to you, Sethu Ramalingam, sir, for your talk.
Thank you, Mr. Anil Kumar. First, let me thank Ramco Systems, Ramco Cements for associating with us, in conducting such innovative programs. And precast concrete is one of the subject which is order of the day. And the construction product by casting concrete in a usable mold form, it is made in factories and shifted to the site. So precast concrete construction consists of frame, walls and floors. It is also provides time and cost-effective benefits to the builders. And definitely this kind of a seminar will be very useful to our fraternity. Thank you once again. And I am also eagerly waiting to hear the the technical data from Mr. Surya Prakash, like others. Thank you very much for once again for coordinating with us. Thank you, Mr. Surya Prakash. I would like to thank Mr. Devarajan also, who is a very busy person, who is one of the captain of the industry, who is also with us here as a panelist. Thank you, Mr. Devaraj, sir. Thank you.
So let me just take some time to introduce the speaker as well as the various initiatives we at Ramco had been there. I will just take 5 minutes. In fact, at Ramco Cements, based on the interaction that we had with various construction projects as well as with various construction professionals, we have been able to customize cement based on the requirements of concrete. So what we do is that we understand the concrete type, the grade, the workability, the various parameters that is being used at site, and based on that we have 12 different types of cement. Like say for example, within PPC itself we have Ramco Supercrete, Ramco Super Grade, as all of us know, is used widely in various construction work. And why this Ramco Supercrete? The idea is that it gives a high compressive strength even with a low heat of hydration. So that is the basic purpose of having Ramco Supercrete cement. Then we have within ordinary Portland cement, we have OPC 43, 53, OPC 43 infra, OPC 53 infra. The basic idea of having infra cement is to give a longer slump retention. And then we have the sulfate resistant Portland cement for special works. We have the Ramco Super Fast for precast works. In fact, today's topic is also on precast application, as all the professionals would appreciate that we have the in situ concrete work that goes on. And most of us know that many of the small projects especially do not have even the documentation of the concrete that is being used in those structures, especially the type of concrete grade. So most of the time it goes by the thumb rules. Thumb rules may work sometimes, may not work sometimes. So it's always better to create a system for better quality concrete. And that is where I think this kind of discussions will help us. It has always been our endeavor to invest in quality, because in the long term, quality fetches long term results, as all of us know. And anything that we invest in quality is a kind of investment, not an expense. And as all of you know, that in situ concrete is there, RMC is there. Now, when you want to have a concrete with good finish, a factory made product which is having a high durability, I am sure that one has to go for precast works. So let me just introduce the speaker of the day today, Mr. Surya Prakash. Uh, Engineer Surya Prakash, who is the Managing Director, Satyavani Project and Consultant Limited, is an eminent engineer, consultant, and a mentor who has made significant contribution to civil engineering. Engineer Surya Prakash obtained his bachelor's degree in civil engineering from JNTUK in 1986. He did MS in structures in 1990 from IIT Madras. After working for 5 years as a design engineer in 1994, he established Mrs. Satyavani Projects and Consultants Private Limited. He is also the founder and mentor of Smart Infra EST, a trust dedicated to the civil engineering to enhance employability and employment. In fact, to this end, he has been conducting number of programs for the budding civil engineers, and he was president ACCEI between 2013 to 15, and he is founding member of expert committee appointed by government of Andhra Pradesh from June to October 2019 to review projects of irrigation, urban development, and roads and bridges. He authored a book on design and implementation of communication towers. Engineer Surya Prakash was the guest training faculty to RECTI, ESCI, CTI Hyderabad on CAD of transmission line towers. He is chief resource person for LEAP lecture in 56 topics for Smart Infra Fest. The CAB FADD software developed by him won the ACCE CDC Best Software Award in 2007. He was the organizing secretary for WISE 2004. He organized workshops on PepsCon 2013, 14, 15, 17, 18, and he was a member of the expert committee for categorization of seismic damage structures. Engineer Surya Prakash participated in several international conferences, some of them which are Como, Italy 2011, ACWC, Seoul, South Korea, IASS 2012, and Precast 2014, Moscow, and ACWC 2015, Singapore. ACWC 2019, Istanbul. So he guided projects for MTech and BTech students of Engineering College, IITM, JNTUH, NITW. He is also involved in the training of engineers. Engineer Surya Prakash has handled several prestigious projects during the past 3 decades. So with those few words, let me welcome the speaker of the day. And after the talk, our panelist Devarajan sir would like to add some points based on Surya Prakash sir's presentation. And I am sure that this presentation would be very useful because most of us are grappling with the challenge of precast construction, because we have hollow block units, we have solid block units, we have paving block units. But how about making precast panels widely used in various construction projects? So with those few words, over to you, Surya Prakash sir, for your presentation and for your experience sharing with all of us. In fact, we have builders from across the country who is joining us. Over to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, all the panelists.
Thank you for kind words. I'm really privileged today to be among such an august audience of builders and contractors across the country. And today I'm going to share my experience in this precast, which has been close to my heart for last 20 years. And it's a really opportunity given to me by Ramco and Builders Association of India. I thank you for that. And so without losing much of time, I would also like to finish my presentation faster so that we can have more discussion about at least 10-15 minutes on any issues that will be raised by the builders, because I'm dealing with the practical people, those who are going to implement the projects. I'm sure they'll be having a lot of questions, and I'll also spare time for that question. So I'll try to finish my presentation in half an hour. So today's topic, precast concrete for building and case studies, is a very important subject today in the current question is building applications and technologies that I'm going to share the case studies that we have handled in precast in India and abroad. So construction, as we all know, is a real challenging for whether it is for the implementing organization or it is a contractor or a consultant. Ultimately, it is the construction that converts the imagination or design or engineering into reality. In such a manner that we'll be able to deliver the project in the given time at a cost budgeted and in the quality that has to be achieved with safety. These are the objective of any construction project, whether it is complex, simple, or challenging, any type of project. We have to devise the construction methodology such that we will complete the project in time. But we all know the current situation. Our country particularly has gone through in the last 4 months. When labor were available, we were not able to do the project, and when we are able to start the project, labor were not available. They have left the sites. So this kind of situation, not new. As a consultant, when I review the progress of the project, I find that resource mobilization is a big challenge. It is always, we always find that labor, skilled or unskilled labor mobilization is a challenge, and we have to tackle this issue, and precast is one of the solutions for that. And the construction period also, we have so many uncertainties in our country that to do a project without break is a big challenge actually. So in Bangalore, we did a project where 30 months was the completion time. Even by doing the work, even then we didn't want to break the work, but 2 elections, parliament and BBMP elections, when we had to break the work for 12 hours. And you know, when the work breaks continue, when it is happening 24 hours, 7 days, if there is a break again to restore, we lose effectively 2-3 days of schedule. So like that, we have a real challenge in India doing the project. So we have to handle this construction period very tactically, and technology is the answer. Taxation was a big challenge before when we had excise duty and all that. But now thanks to GST, with GST, it has simplified the taxation in precast actually, because there is no excise duty anymore. And we have the same input credit that we get in any works contract. Earlier, otherwise, we all remember Senvat and all, they are big issues. Major dream for anyone is fixed cost. Construction is not a process of making. There are so many uncertainties and risks which we have to handle. And all these uncertainties can be reduced by going for precast. And quality, any cost in situ construction, we all know that quality is a big challenge because we are dealing with the unskilled workers and skilled workers or less skilled workers. So these are all the challenges for which we find that precast is the answer. And today I'll be sharing with you some of my case studies of US projects that we have done, multi-level car parks and all. The feasibility report made for setting up the precast plant almost like 18 years back. And we have done rapid metro rail in which station buildings are done in precast. And office buildings we did for Andhra Pradesh R&B and CRDA. Right now we are doing one Sarat Towers project. And the commercial buildings, we have mall and multiplex and another office building new coming up. And residential, we have done villas and high-rise buildings up to 11 floors. In total, I can tell you in a short span of last 5-6 years, we have converted into precast at least 3 million square feet of projects actually. And we are doing one Veda Pathsala, it's like institutional building. And to make it, we all know that technology when it comes, it is not easy actually. We have to regulate the technology. We have seen many. In fact, precast itself had come into India in the 70, 80 decade actually. But it failed because at that time our country was not ready to accept. We are not opened up. So a lot of challenges in handling and technology and all that. So it failed actually in that. The economy has opened up. We have the access to all the machineries and technologies. So it is easy to implement, but we have to regulate. So I saw this challenge and I founded a society called Pre-Engineered Structure Society of India to regulate, organize, and stimulate the implementation of the technology. So with this brief introduction, I'll also go into the topic like any new technology is required when we have this kind of challenges for skilled labor, and labor poaching is another big challenge I faced as a project management consultant. In some of the projects, the contractor with a lot of difficulty will bring the labor, and you know most of the workers we have are all migrant actually. And for another our competitor, it is easy to poach our labor camps and take away them. So we used to have a lot of problems in keeping the labor and the resource leveling. This is another biggest challenge in conventional construction. We do the staging of construction to level the resources, we all know. And contract system may be recommended for a desired output time, because the precast is a different technology. Whether you want to buy the precast elements and you do the erection, or you want to give as a lump sum contract to the precast companies, which have to develop other trades like civil works and MEP and finishes, facade works and all. So these are all the things we have to handle as we move forward with these new technologies. We have to devise the contracting methods. We are doing already, we are working. And whenever we have labor camp inside the site boundaries, we all know, particularly in the high value sites, there are issues. So we can avoid all these challenges and not available unskilled workers. Particularly nowadays we are seeing people are not as productive as olden days, and waste generated at the site when we do cast in situ. I remember at least 200 300 trucks for a just 30,000 square feet building. Also we have to send away the dead mortar and dead concrete and all these broken bricks and all that. So we can avoid this challenge of waste disposal even, and reduce the waste, because these are all the things which we don't take into account while we arrive at the cost of the conventional construction. And transporting the materials to the site. Nowadays, we all know in the cities particularly, there are a lot of restrictions for construction during the day, and we have to do the construction during the night. And during the night, we all have the challenges in construction. So safety issues, people don't want to wear PPEs. Even in COVID situation, we are seeing people are very adventurous, youngsters particularly, and quality issues like concreting, finish, right thickness, plaster, line and level finish, and more advances may leave abruptly. So shortage of skilled labor is the biggest challenge. And at present, force majeure kind of situation, COVID situation. In fact, earlier we used to struggle to convince the clients. Now clients are asking, how can I implement this precast technology in my project? So it is definitely advantageous to go for precast with all these challenges. Another thing is crashed schedules. So people want projects to be completed in 6 months, 3 months, like kind of schedule. And precast is the technology, and but it's not a cake as such. It is not readily available. We have to develop share today. So precast is the technology. Here you can see the comparison. We have done one project where we have done conventional shear wall and precast also in the same site. Each block is of size about 60,000 square feet. This is a saleable area in terms of builder's language. And you can see precast is almost only 40% of conventional labor required. So we have reduced the labor camp by mixing these three technologies from 4,000 people that I would have to mobilize for the project to 2,000 people by using three technologies in the same site. So this is the mitigation, risk mitigation for the contractor. And also with the precast, we could reduce the working capital required for the project by 40%. That means 100 crores were the cash gap that we have estimated from by using these technologies, three technologies in the same, down the working capital requirement in the project to 60 crores, 40% saving in the working cash. And percentage of labor, if you see in precast, you need only 62%. That too, because in other areas like facade finishes and all, we are using still the labor-oriented work. There also, if we can adopt pre-engineered systems, this will be really advantageous and useful. We have and a speed, quality, sustainable, eco-friendly solution at a competitive cost. Many people have apprehension that the precast will cost more. That was the earlier, about 20 years back, if you ask me, that is right actually, because we don't have readily available vendors or technology or machines. Experience of implementing these technologies, and it is very advantageous to save time and cost. In other words, if you see the life cycle cost of the project, definitely there is a saving. But if you look at the risk perspective, with precast, you have a fixed cost and fixed time delivery. That is possible. So this is our dream actually, which is possible now in India. You can buy a home on Amazon. This is the level of technology we reached in India. This is a one house of 300 square feet made in two parts. You can see already fitted with the door and interior finishes and all. Just assemble at the site and sell the house. So this is my dream. Personally, technology, modular precast has reached this level where we can sell a house online Amazon. This costs about 3.5 lakh rupees. So, which is quite possible, including the supply erection and all that. So we are working at affordable housing for people to deliver this kind of houses. And this I have been campaigning with the government for last 6 years to promote this technology, because once in the affordable housing scheme, if this technology is implemented, as we move forward, the cost of precast will reduce, because once the cost of plant and machinery is written off in this kind of project, subsequently we can give houses at a much competitive price for the people. So we have seen various technologies. This is the comparison. You can see a typical wall construction, how challenging it is to use unengineered scaffolding and labor at risk, working at higher levels and all. Whereas in precast, buildability. And these are all the various comparisons I have just taken with the precast walls. Now we have even partition walls, precast readily available. Sand is another challenge. We all know in most of the states, it is the biggest political ploy to create artificial demand for sand by stopping the supply and then increasing the price. Nobody can know what is the price of sand. So in such conditions, it is always better to go for these technologies where we use the lesser sand, or we can use conveniently manufactured sand. So dimensional accuracy, perfect finish, and permanent finish. That means most of the precast constructions, we try to give the finish also in concrete itself, which I call it as permanent. And even the foundations, we can go for precast strip foundation kind of thing. And this is the kind of even acid etching and coloring is possible. You need not even paint. You can get an architectural finish in the precast wall itself and use it directly. So this, and you have to fix the doors and windows in the buildings quite fast. And these are the walls with window openings and ventilators. Even any type of requirements we can embed into the design, like electrical, plumbing also. And lesser labor dependence and environment friendly and no pollution at the site. That is the main thing. Here you can see conventional when we do the mixing at the site and pouring at the site. So it looks so risky actually. And nowadays we can have a clean construction like this with precast. And so let us look at what are all the elements possible. So we have different structural systems in precast, like wall frame systems and normal column beam systems also are possible. And these are the precast slabs and flooring. Many people have doubt that these joints will leak and all. I have to explain to the clients that we don't leave the joint open as it is. We'll be having a screed on the slab. And sometimes we have even solid slab panels also for residential purpose. So don't have to worry about the joints because we are treating the joint. And the facade also elements we can use. And the large spans with the hollow core is possible up to 14 meters or 16 meters by using the hollow core. And the sandwich facades, like some people have the apprehension about the temperature because these are the concrete walls, but we can have the sandwich wall panels where we use the insulation to reduce the temperature. And load-bearing cross walls are possible like this, solid walls. And we also can have a column beam system. I'll be sharing all these case studies with you as we move forward. So here you can see the wall panel with the chajja. These are all the doubts. That's why I'm particularly showing. These are actual photographs of some of the projects. I may not be directly connected, but I'm aware of these technologies where different casting of wall technology. I'll also show you the plant, how we cast these walls and how we can cast these walls on site also. So let us come to the what are all the precast concrete elements that are possible. So we have a solid wall panel or slab panels, solid panels we can cast. Hollow core is a very advantageous system when we have large span, and weight will be reduced to overall weight, and deflection is under control. And if you want to go for spans of 18 meters like industries, 18 meters, 22 meters also, we can use these double T's. And with double T without reinforcement, we can use the post tensioning here. And this is a single T. And this we use in the large span requirements, multi-level car parks or malls and multiplexes we can use. And you can see this rib is only a 75 mm and 150 mm thick. And the slab also will be very less thick, and you can tuck in all the services in this portion actually. So this will be very advantageous system which can be adopted in large spans. And we also cast the rectangular beams. These are the shear lugs you can see for casting the slab and integrating the beam with the slab. And L-shaped beams so that these slabs can sit on this ledge, and it will be a flush look at the bottom. And we also use these inverted T-beams for seating these double T's. And again, these shear lugs are for connecting all these double T's and beam with the concrete screed. That will make it an integral system and make it possible to have diaphragm action. So we have used all these elements, and columns also we can use like same as beams. We cast the columns. We can cast columns up to 3 floors, 4 floors conveniently if we have the transportation facilities. So these are wall panels. You can see joints. This is I'm showing particularly to show that it will look like cast in situ only. We can use these dowels and connect all the panels with these dowels and make integral part of the structure with all the joints. And staircase, this is another biggest challenge. We all know ultimately the thickness of the stair will be so much to make up the tread and level inaccuracies that we have in the conventional construction. So these are the photographs of the staircase with the mid-landing, and you can see how we are giving the dowels in the mid-landing so that we connect to the flights conveniently to make it integral structure. So this is the photograph of the hollow core panels. After casting, you can see we close these openings so that no rats or anything will go into these things. We have to close these hollows before erection actually. And after erection, we'll remove these openings. And this is the typical hollow core cross section, how it looks. And you can see you will have a flush bottom line, or if it is permissible, we can have the beams also like this. So I'll show you the photographs of all these systems. And this is the all services we can embed in this. Many people have the doubt whether we can embed, but if you have the predetermined plan frozen, we can embed all these electrical and plumbing lines into these precast hollow core slabs. And this is the plant, typical plant, how it looks. And we have the hollow core beds of length about 200 meters. Curing is done on the bed for 8 hours, steam curing. And then these panels are cut to the length required and they are stacked in the yard. And they can produce every day. If you have one line, bed line, you can cast about 2,400 square feet per day with one line. So this is the productivity that we have. And concrete mix is design is separate for this hollow core. Please make a point that we cannot use the regular concrete for this hollow core, because this hollow concrete has to stay after extrusion. This is done by the extruder, specially made for casting these hollow core slabs. And this is the wall panel. We can cast the wall panel like this within the factory or even at the site. So in the wall panel for stripping is made easier by tilting table, and we can embed all the electrical conduits and plumbing lines into this wall before casting. And there is automation to the level of a production line to simple costing about 12 lakhs per bed also. So 4 meter by 8 meter wall panel bed, you can get it for 12 to 15 lakh rupees in India. That is a fixed bed. There is very little risk in stripping, but you can see, I'll show you the photograph of the tilting table also. Here you can see the beams production, column and beam production line, where we can cast these columns and beams in a controlled environment. Temperature issues and all will not be there. And so these are the columns after casting. These are the holes for the dowels in the column, and these are the corbels for supporting the beams. And these are the inverted you can see being cast. And this is the tilting table I was talking about. It is easy to strip the slab after casting because when you tilt, it can strip easily. But we have very great technologies with the magnetic release systems also for the formwork. So in the casting yard, we can use the magnetic also. And these are the hollow core yard in another factory. And this is an open type of factory also. We can do this. This factory also is made in precast. You can see the gantry crane and gantry girder and the columns with corbel also. Very clean finish. So factories also can be constructed in this precast. And you need a casting, stacking yard for all the members. So we have to keep for handling these elements. Particularly when we use precast, we have to have good technology, scheduling proper so that there is no rehandling of the material. So we have to stack it here for drying and curing, and then we will take these elements to the site and directly erect at the site. So this is some of the photographs of the stacking that is done for the elements. And long girders, beams also, you can see that. And so we have to design the handling also, handling stresses for these beams. So I'll be showing you So we can transport the complete unit also like this. This is a site office made in precast, which can be transported by trailer to the site. And these are the wall panels being transported. And so these are the residential projects. You can see the joints with the hollow core or wall panel with the shear connectors, with the beam cast in situ. So it is a composite construction that is possible in sites. So this is the precast building construction. You can see this is a normal cast in situ, and they are using the hollow core slabs. So we can use the combinations of these elements as it is convenient. Wall panels is called battery mold, because in a table mold you get the form finish on one side, and other side you will get the trowel finish. So if you use the battery mold, you can get both sides form finish. So you need not have to even use the putty for finish. Actually, you will get a smooth finish on both the sides, and it can be used in the projects. And this is the during construction photographs of the residential, and this is the villa project also with a complete precast. So these are the walls during erection for independent villa project. And this is the battery mold, how it looks. Actually very compact, and you need less area. So whenever you have the issue of the area of the plant, you can go for this, but plant cost is higher for this. Whereas a flat table plant cost is lower, but you need more area. So these are all the various typical joint details between two walls at the corner, T-junction of the walls, and you have the wall-to-wall joint or cast in situ wall-to joint. We use this dowel, and also the grout tubes in the walls to grout the dowels openings that we leave in the walls. So these are all the various details. I have all types of construction joint details that are required at the site. So here you can see the plinth beam or grade beam versus wall joint, and all cast in situ and precast wall, or precast slab and cast in situ wall. All combinations are possible to be done. So now I'll quickly, as promised, I'll show some of the projects that handled in India and abroad. And so this is a multi-level car park.
I think there is a problem from the speaker's end. Bear with us for some time before he comes back. Sir, you are there now? There is a bandwidth issue, and
Another wall precast architectural finish. Welded plates, but in India it will be costly to use the dry joint. So in India we are using the wet joints. Not only in India, in Europe and the Middle East also, people use these wet joints using the in situ concrete joints. So you can see here, these are the steel plates. It is seating on this inverted T-beam, and we do the welding on site to connect these double T's. Here also you can see the stitch plates in this portion. So they're all dry joints welded. And this is the casting yard in US when I visited the site. So we have taken the photographs of the beams that are being cast in precast. And these are the walls with hooks. You can see in India, this will be very costly to use this kind of hooks. So we use the ropes and loops in India, which is cheaper option for handling, but little riskier. But this is the hardware which we have to use, but cost of hardware will be higher. But it will be very clean and neat in the detail. And this is the ledge in the wall on which slab can sit. So, and these are the lifting hooks in a closer view, you can see, which is used for slinging and handling this thing. So these are all the inverted T-beams with the lifting hooks here. So in place of this metal, because this we have to cut and remove later, instead of that, we can use the loops of cables, high strength cables, which will be little cheaper compared to this hardware. And this is the stacking methodology. So in engineering, we have to design how we stack and where we put the support for these stacks. So precast requires more engineering and less labor. So in India also, we have more engineers than workers actually. So we can utilize all these excess engineers that are available for effective planning and design and implementation of this precast project. So here you can see the stacking and handling in the site, how we stack these wall panels and various slab panels also. And transportation, again, you can see for transportation also where to put the support in the trailer also has to be designed and detailed in the drawing. Please remember, ask for more engineering, definitely to save the material cost. Somebody is asking, will there be any cracks in the concrete panels in the precast? Yes, if you don't design properly, if you don't engineer properly, there will be cracks. But definitely in precasting, we use less. So definitely there is shrinkage risk is less in precast concrete. So these are all the typical details which we provide. And so you can see these are all the level of detailing that we do. This is the base connection, and this is the stripping. This is the stripping, and this is the stack. This is the slinging for erection. So these are all the different drawings we have to do. It's a shop drawing for one column element. So we give all the details and bar bending schedule for each of the elements. So we have to make the shop drawing. So in precast, we have to have a general arrangement, and we have what you call erection plans, and we have the shop drawings. So all these are required, and the quality check at the engineering level is very important, because if you want to save time during construction, we have to spend more time in planning and design. So here you can see the corbel detailing of these columns. These are real drawings which we have supplied to our client, and column casting, form side and all we have mentioned the column casting, and this is the recess we are giving for supporting the beams, and this is the base. Orientation of the base also is very important. So the detailing we have to do to this level, and this is the double T drawing you can see, and you can see the welding that we are specifying for connection to the other member, stitch plate and all that. Are all the details again at the end support, bearing plate and all, we give the details, and there is a reinforcement for connecting to the plates for transfer of the stresses. And even this kind of portal, we can cast a single portal. And I'll take the questions once I finish my run these case studies. I'll try to do it faster. And this is the hollow core in which we can do even cuttings and openings that are required for the ducts and all. And this is the drawing of a plan as cost level and column details, and stripping hooks and all are shown in the drawing. So this is inverted T-beam. So you can see reinforcement detailing for this inverted T-beam, and this is the wall panel, structural wall panel for 3 floors. You can see we make the single wall panel for 3 floors, and these are the corbels for supporting the beams. And so we detail all the things in this. And these are the lifting hooks you can see for these wall panels, and these are the plates for connecting to the other wall panel. This is the spandrel beam actually. Stairs at the form side, and so this is the stair drawing. You can see the challenge in stair drawing is stripping, and here you can see the handling, how we strip the stair, and how we handle, how we stack it, and how we move it for erection, and how we transport it, these stairs. Because if you don't do it properly, it will crack. So this drawing should itself talk about the method of stripping, method of stacking, and method of erection. All these details are given in the drawing itself, in the stairs. And in one drawing, you will have all the details of this. So after doing these projects in US, I have done about 12 projects in US. And with that experience, I thought I must bring that technology to India, and made feasibility reports for different people for setting up this plant. And now we are seeing in the last 2 decades, in India, we have many precast vendors. there are many precast companies. So anybody who is interested to get in, also we can help in identifying the right technology and the right method of implementation of these precast projects. So next is one metro project we did in Gurgaon. It's the first PPP metro in which we have successfully implemented the precast. Of course, viaduct is a common thing, but even in station buildings, we have done this precast. So this is the plan view of the station building. Of course, this is a steel structure, but this platform and concourse is all done in precast. I'll be showing you some of the photographs. This is after completion photograph, and this is during construction. And these are the viaduct photographs. Because today's topic is only building, I focus on station building. So this is the precast beams of 15-meter span, because the architect wanted a flush line look in the bottom. So here you can see this is the cast in situ beam, and we have these precast I sections. So all the flanges are joined here, and we did the cast in situ diaphragm because this falls in Zone 4 earthquake. So we have designed for the earthquake also, and by using the diaphragm action. And here you can see the step in the beam for the platform line actually. So we have this is an integral part of station building. So we have the viaduct also in the station building. So this is the viaduct here. And this is the photograph of a platform, table platform, like single level concourse and platform. So this is the completed photograph after erection. And these are the closer views of the station building. Here you can see the dowels left for the sake of escalators and all accommodating. And these are the openings in the precast itself for the sake of services. You can see clearly the openings. We have successfully taken all the services in this, so you don't have to have any false ceiling as such. And in the strips, lighting is fixed. So this is another housing project we did in Hyderabad. It is 2 parking levels plus 9 floors. So there are 37 towers here in this project, out of which 14 we have done in precast, 8 we have done in My1, and 15 we did in what you call conventional. So we have successfully completed this project, and the contractor was very happy. In fact, when I offered another project after this, he asked me whether he can do all 3 technologies in that project. So that is the risk mitigation and comfort level that contractor gets when we use different technologies. But if you see the photograph after completion, it looks same actually. This is the view. Sorry. And this is the actual photograph of the site. So we made it, when you visit the site after completion, you can't distinguish which is precast and which is cast in situ. That level of thing is there. And this is the overall view of the photograph of 37 blocks. I'm sure you will appreciate that it is very difficult to differentiate precast and this one. And these are the photographs during construction. So wall panels in the last, we lost some time in handing over of the site by the client here. And in the last 4 months, we completed 4 blocks, complete 4 blocks in 4 months, really. And this is the advantage of precast. When you have the crash schedules without issues of the quality, we can do these projects. And here we use the solid wall panels, which we cast at the site, and we use the hollow core slabs for the floor. And it has come out very well. And this is the transportation and stacking that is done at the site. And this is during the casting. These are the grout tubes actually, sheathing for dowels. So we keep this in the wall panels, and with the hydras, we could handle these panels at the site. And this is after erection, you can see, and this is partly during erection that is happening. So this is in the beginning of the site. Over the foundation, we did the cast in situ here. Here you can see the slabs, hollow core slabs under erection, and wall is erected here. So this is a very interesting project we did in Hyderabad, completed about 2 years back. And this is another project that is almost complete now. This is an industrial cluster for micro and small and MSME developed by government of Andhra Pradesh. And we are the consultants to plan, design and implement this project. And we converted into precast because It's a 6 lakh square feet, which client wanted to complete in 12 months with the 12-meter spans, because this is a flatted industry. And we use the column beam and hollow core, and the main contractor is the KMV Infra, and the client is the Petco. So this is the 12-meter span hollow core. You can see the spider beam to handle this. So we have to have this design of this erection and handling very carefully, because if we do any wrong method, it will lead to wastage of material and failure. So here you can see precast and beams and columns with the corbels. So this is after erection complete almost, and you can see the columns, beams, and the slabs. And this is the in situ screed that we do to integrate this hollow core slab to give a diaphragm action, because this project is lying in zone 3 of earthquake. So we designed for earthquake also. So this is the partial core in shear wall and columns and beams, and it is properly designed for this earthquake and wind also. This is another R&B office building, first probably government office building, done in 2016. So this is the office building completed in a very fast time, and this is the about 3 lakh square feet. And this is after completion photograph. The quality you can expect is really good for these office buildings. These columns and walls are nicely shown, like because you need not use artificial elements to give facade actually, and you can use the concrete itself as the facade. So that is the advantage of this. And you have the porch, and this complete building is in precast on pile foundations in Vijayawada. And this is the closer view of this building. And this is the internal view. In fact, I visited this building, attended a meeting in this building last year. I was so happy actually with the quality and space that looks very clean and straight with the high quality. So these are all the photographs during construction. And here you can see the small site in a busy city center. It could be managed erection with the cranes and stacking also. So these are the photographs during erection, and these are the further photographs. And another CRDA office building, this is a little smaller, about 1 lakh square feet, also done in shear wall and hollow core slabs and beam and slabs. So there are two shear cores of lift and staircase are used as the shear wall, and we buttress this with the column and beam system. These are the photographs during construction and erection, during the erection. And this is also office building, and we could complete as planned. And AP Secretariat Interim Government Complex also, we have used the precast beams actually. Though we are the consultants, we have suggested total precast because of non-availability at that time. It is a fast-track project. Partly L&T has done the casting of the beams for this precast beams and cast in situ slab. This is another project right now. Work is in progress. Where the Sala, about 1 lakh square feet in G+2 format, with all the slope slabs and all, we converted into precast, and even this boundary wall with all inscriptions, complex design, we are doing in precast now. So this is another project. So these are the wall panels. You can see the brick finish in the wall panel. We also done the same thing in Maivan. We are using the liner panels for getting this brick finish. So this is during the transportation and handling at the site. And these are the frames made to support this indigenized method of transportation. And this is the stacking at the site before erection. So we are ready with the wall panels. Once the foundation is done, we'll erect. And this is another project, office building we are doing, about 5 lakh square feet in 5 parking still plus 10 floors with the column beam and hollow core system. So this is the typical floor plan with the columns and beams and hollow core span, and with even the balcony projections that is possible to be done. And this is another mall and multiplex we are doing in precast in Hyderabad only, in the very because of the challenges. So we can complete this construction. Planned completion of this is 9 months, and this planned completion also is in 9 months. That is 4 basements and 5 floors, commercial complex. This is another co-living and amenities block of another project, which we are also doing in precast. This is also about 14 floors plus 3 basements. So these are all the case studies, and some of the projects that we have done. 40-meter precast communication pole that we have done, and this is completely supplied and erected in India actually. So we have also done for transmission towers. These are other applications, and we did this rotary management system at a junction where 2 national highways cross. 3 levels of rotary we have designed, and this is also almost nearing completion with this precast I-beams. So another defense housing project helped the department in converting into precast. About this is the how I have advised. Conventional, they will do smaller locations where less than 1,000 units are there in location. We go for conventional, and shear wall where 100 to 2,000 locations are there, dwelling units, and more than 2,000 dwelling units per location. We gone for precast, which is running into about 60% of the project. So this was decided but had to be implemented. So with all these challenges, as a committed engineer, I've along with my colleagues in engineering, we formed a society called Pre-Engineered Structure Society of India. So this society, through this society, will also help contractors, builders, planners to implement these technologies. We conducted so many workshops in the last 7 years. In fact, we are promoting this technology. Some companies have come out of this conference also. New companies we encourage to form. And this is the we have to also, to bring public acceptance, we have to do the PR exercise we did. And now precast is normally talked about technology. So finally, precast concrete is only method of construction. Please don't take it as anything different. We are, instead of pouring concrete at site, we are pouring elsewhere and bringing. And request stringent quality and engineering standards. Please underline this. Fixed cost, fixed time, and control process. That is the advantage actually for any contractor. Initially, it may look more, but actually it is cheaper. And less labor intensive and need of the hour today, particularly in the pandemic situation. And volumes will bring down the cost. That is the advantage. Any mechanization with volumes, the cost will come down. Vendor development needed further. In fact, I am working on it to get the credible vendors into the market. And advanced technologies, plant and machinery are readily available. That is a plus point. And I am working for last 2 decades to work on promote these technologies. And ultimately, we'll all be able to deliver a better built environment. So with these few words, I conclude my talk today. I have overshot, I think, by 15 minutes. I said.
Thank you, sir. It was a good presentation. Now, before we go to the question answer session, let me request our panelist, Mr. Devarajan from URC Construction. In fact, as all of us know, URC Construction has been in the construction industry since 1956, and they have executed projects in various sectors ranging from metro to smart cities to building projects and all that. So I'm sure that with his some remarks, we would be able to take some takeaways. Over to you, Devarajan sir, for your remarks on the presentation before we go to the question answer session.
Yeah. Today's webinar, Ms. Surya Prakash sir, and I thank Ramco Cements and BI for this opportunity. Frankly speaking, going forward, the coming decade, that is 2020 to 2030, is the real transformational decade for India, where a lot of things has to happen through infrastructure, particularly the precast construction, pre-engineered precast construction has to take a very strong stride and step. And I'm happy that I'm able to understand Mr. Surya Prakash has done so many facilities in US, and then he came here to develop it. That's how the journey goes, and we are all we all know that Ramco is one company which always strives for quality and new thinking. So with these two combinations, URC is willing to join with this team to take things forward, particularly in the building areas, because we are also doing metro rail in a big way, station building or viaduct construction, everything. But I have an experience of studying this precast. We had been to Abu Dhabi to study an Australian technology, which is called green precast, where, like Surya Prakash said, it is a three-dimensional precast where you can construct a house in one go and multiple number of houses can be constructed. But somehow we need to propagate it to the political leaders, the systems, the customers, clients, everyone. And it has to be spreaded and it has to become a topic in every engineering college so that youngsters will understand that this is a new technology to follow and propagate and make India better. And URC has done minimum precast works, but I am sure the way forward, we have done a very, very precision level 3 standard, biosecurity lab in Jatni in Orissa, where it is an airtight building, but that was done in situ. But we did a 243 cube test to arrive at the crack-free concrete. So India as a country has improved a lot in the concrete technology. Cement companies are able to produce multiple variety or grade of concrete, cement. And in the last decade, the contractors also have improved. Only thing, the right companies, the right vendor, like for the supply of precast equipments, Ramco can play a role. Tamil Nadu is yet to pick up in this precast area. I am sure, like Ramco has done an MOU with government of Tamil Nadu for skill development. We are also, URC also is part of it. So we can definitely take things forward. I'm sorry and I regret that I couldn't continue in this webinar because of another commitment. I wish all the very best, Surya Prakash sir. I will definitely be in touch with you sooner for a better, taking for things forward. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Devarajan sir, for your remarks, and it was really a very eye-opener for all of us. And we should definitely take this forward, precast construction. It will take time, but it's very much possible, as rightly remarked by you. Thank you so much, sir, for your presence and for taking off your time for your busy schedule. Thank you so much. So we will go over to the question answer session. Before we close, so some of the questions, can we have the question answer session, sir? Surya Prakash sir, is it okay?
Okay.
So if you look at the questions, it is bracketed under 4 or 5 major headings. One is during the construction, like some of the questions were relating to transportation, where the hook should be placed, how the load calculation has to be done. If the hooks are placed improperly, there could be cracks. So how do you take those, and what is the factor of safety that we need to give? So those are the questions that have come about during the construction phase. So if you can just throw some light, although you have covered during your presentation, but you can emphasize certain points relating to this.
Yeah, I will emphasize particularly code is the biggest doubt everybody has, whether we have a code for precast. In fact, there is a code for precast, but it's quite old. It has to be updated. But as far as design is concerned, we don't need any other code because we are only changing the method of casting. And same concrete provisions will be applicable to the precast. And as engineers, we can always support our design, and joints also can be designed as per the existing codal provisions. And as we all know, code is only a guidance, and ultimately the responsibility is with the structural engineer and construction engineers. Also, so you can understand that there are designs. That is as far as code is concerned. And another point is lifting hooks position. And see, this is a quality issue everywhere we face. Even in conventional construction, reinforcement cover is a big thing actually. If you don't provide enough chairs, enough cover block, your reinforcement will be out of place. Same way, if we don't use proper templates for keeping these hooks and lifting provision, it will be a problem. So we have a rejection rate of 1 to 1.5%, which is industry accepted. But the only thing is the quality process has to be in place before dispatch, after stripping, Like in conventional construction also, we insist on taking the levels of the slabs at 6 stages. I don't know how many of you take it, but definitely that will help in quality assurance of the slab, because nowadays when we find the cracks due to shrinkage also, we'll be able to, by same way, so after casting, after stripping, and after unloading and erection, all levels, there is a checklist required, and there is a PCI manual coming up with a handbook in the similar lines of PCI to tackle all these issues and develop the quality assurance plan in precast. So that's very important, and every engineer has to work with care in assuring these quality dimensional standards, material standard, and erection standards. So this is very important.
Design methodology.
I lost your voice. Hello? I couldn't hear, Anil.
Anil sir, could you repeat the question please, because the mic was muted when you were talking?
Oh.
Able to hear me now?
Yeah.
Anil sir, I think the mic is muted.
No, now it is not muted. Now it's okay. Sir,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Any design methodology or any software for this is another question. Any particular software, sir?
Yeah,
Designing the
Tekla is the software, which is a integrated software, right from planning, scheduling, analysis and design, and dispatch, casting, scheduling, and erection scheduling. You can use the Tekla software. Otherwise, also, even without that software, we can do the analysis and design using ETABS or STAAD, and do the scheduling based on Primavera or MS project also. That can be done.
The other question is regarding maintenance. Like, how would be the maintenance vis-a-vis in situ construction? For
in fact, most of us are missing this point. Even in conventional construction, as per codal provisions, we have to do the at least once in 3 years. So this is a common, and even in precast, it is the same actually. In fact, once building is completed, as I have shown the picture, you can't really distinguish a precast and a cast in situ. Because in cast in situ also, you have the joints at the site. We cast the column, and then you cast the slab and beam, and then you have casting. So there are two joints in every floor. So same in precast also, we have the joint. Only thing is a little bit different timelines. That's it. But one advantage that the fast track crash schedule, the shrinkage and creep is going to be a big challenge in cast in situ. Whereas in precast, we are achieving the strength before erection. So we are not bypassing any of these issues of shrinkage. And somebody was asking about life of structure. I can definitely say precast life of structure can be assured much better compared to cast in situ. Because cast in situ, we are exposed to higher water cement ratio, workability issues and all. They're all tackled in the plant controlled environment, temperature issues, accelerated curing and all that. It will help in extending the life of the structure. The porosity of the concrete, because of the water cement ratio reduction, will be reduced, and we all know that life of structure depends on the porosity of the concrete, and that is minimized in controlled environment and in precast actually.
Sir, another thing is that you said that precast can be used for foundation. Mr. OK Selvaraj wanted to know, can you explain execution of foundation work below ground level using precast?
Yeah. some residential project in near Trichy actually, done by Malar Infra. In fact, they have used the precast strip foundations. So same as we excavate the soil, we level the soil with a PCC or dry mortar, and then you can directly put the precast strip foundation on the PCC and grout any gaps if they are there. Then you are ready like any other foundation, and backfill it with the soil.
Sir, another thing is that some of them are having an opinion that precast is good for big projects. How large scale projects can use it economically. But how about for smaller project? Is it economical, or do you recommend even for smaller projects precast construction?
In fact, the photo I have shown, that is complete precast, which our president also was telling, URC MD, that if you get to that level of total modular precast, which can be sold off the shelf, then definitely it will be more economical than any conventional thing. As I said in my conclusion, we have to do the vendor development still in India. I'm working on that. And also we have to increase the volumes. With the volumes, in fact, people have to come out of that idea, can I drive a nail into the wall, and I want what you call kitchen platform here only, like this one. I mean, it's a house. Ultimately, when we go and stay in a completely comfortably designed hotel, we enjoy that hotel room. Similarly, house also can be standardized, and you need not plan every house separately. So if square feet like that, people should accept it. Then automatically we can do the industrial production of these houses, and people can buy online by using their credit card.
What about precast for disaster management? That was another question. After a disaster occurs, it can be done easily. That's what the view. What about your view of that?
No, I don't see any difference with the precast, even in disaster management, because only thing is, yeah, as a disaster preparedness, the government can, like in transmission, we do towers, steel structure, the government towers and erect quickly. Same way, for disaster, government can procure some of the buildings in precast and keep them ready. And you can erect them quickly as and when required. That is
what about the post-construction challenges? Like, say, for example, after everything is over, can we make some changes? Because many of us Indians have that mentality and attitude that, especially for residential buildings.
In fact, the residential building project that we have done, we kept that flexibility in mind.
Okay.
We only did the precast of the outer shell. So the structure will be completed, and internal walls people can change as they like. But toilets position and kitchen position, that have to be frozen, because ducts are required, that we have to plan before.
What about the sustainability part? You already mentioned it is good. Like how sustainability, it will score much higher. Would they be getting more points when they are using precast as compared to constitutive? Like, how is it?
If the people know about these green rating systems, whether it is Griha or IGBC or LEED, in that the construction waste is one of the major points actually. .2%. Whereas in national we have a lot of wastage, which we need special efforts to reduce the debris, actually construction waste. So that is totally eliminated in precast. That is the biggest advantage. And also the material consumption, the concrete thickness. Unfortunately, our Indian codes are still like a very old methodology. We are going by this probabilistic method. In fact, there is some method called uncertainties. If you see in precast, uncertainties are very less in material quality. We can take less if you are using precast. Same way, so for example, we have a very good contractor and bad contractor. The dimension tolerance will be less in case of good contractor. And similarly, in precast, the dimension tolerance, we have standard tolerances of 5 mm, 1 in 100 and all. That will go away actually. In precast, the tolerance is much more stringent. So with that tolerance, the partial safety factors can be brought down, which is not there in the code still, but that will come in future. Already research is on in considering you can take your factor according to the method of construction, partial safety factor. In that case, precast will have advantage and we are saving material also.
Sir, another concern is regarding the joints, because at the joints, some of them are having a concern, could it be weaker? Because especially beam column joints or dry joint, because, how do we take care of?
No. As I said, suppose we cast the column, some of the projects, they stop for 2 years and again start on the top of the column. That is a joint. How we are treating that joint, same way. And even in office buildings, we have come across when we are doing the post-tensioning, in the bursting zones, if there is a failure of concrete, we are restoring in cast in situ also. So same in precast, instead of restoring, it is designed joint actually. And as I said, any technology requires more engineering and more quality control. Definitely it has to be done.
Another concern is that different rooms are of different sizes. Then how would we be able to standardize?
Yeah, no, you need not standardize. Actually, ultimately, it is all wall panels. And
we can just
flexibility in precast compared to My1 actually. In My1, you have the difficulty of repetitions and all because of the cost of shuttering. Here, it is only the same table I use, and I plan the casting of the panels fitting within that. So it's not at all a problem. A lot of flexibility is there.
Mr. Agarwal wants to know that we are contractors for drinking water supply schemes where we build overhead water tanks with staging height from 15 to 25 meters. I wish we shall be able to build OHTs in water supply instead of cast in situ, using precast.
Yeah, it can be. Staging can be definitely done with the precast. And even the rings in the water tank, you can do precast and put the joint like construction joint in the regular conventional construction.
So I think we have taken almost all the questions, and we have covered questions and queries during construction, post-construction, maintenance, whether it can be used in disaster. More important thing, is there any limitation is the final question. The limitation by using precast.
Biggest limitation in our country is access to the site. That is, we see in some of the cities, even cities like Bangalore, the newly developed colonies, you have only 20 feet road. You have that 20 feet road, and you can't even take the crane there. And the crane is a requirement. So you must check the access first. Whenever somebody asks me, can I do precast? I'll first ask, what is the road width you have? And that road width should be there throughout to the connecting to the highway. That is the biggest thing one has to check before deciding for precast.
Thank you so much, sir, for your presentation as well as the interaction. It was a very good interactive session also. And I am sure that professionals from Builders Association of India would have got a lot of ideas, and many of them would also get in touch with you because of the expertise and the projects that you have done using precast construction. And as usual, the presentation was very interesting. And I am sure that budding civil engineers who have logged in would be able to take, and you are a champion of that. In fact, you have been conducting so many programs for the budding construction professionals, budding civil engineers. And there is so much scope actually, you have, in fact, the avenues have been widened for a civil engineer. It is no longer that narrow scope when we graduated. Now the scope is so widened, so broadened, that many of them are having a lot of opportunities. So I'm sure that, as you rightly remarked, that there are a number of engineers than the number of workers. So that is another, window of opportunity that we have got, and so we can have more of engineering.
Yeah.
So that is something very interesting, sir. So thank you so much for joining us. And in fact, we have overshot by 30 minutes, but then it was very useful. Thank you so much for sparing your time. amidst your
Yeah.
busy schedule. And I would also thank all the panelists who had joined us from Builders Association of India, all the builders who have been there throughout the webinar for having spared their time. Thank you so much. Any final remarks from your side, sir? Surya Prakash?
No, I only wish we convert most of the projects into precast in future, so that engineer's job will be easier and we'll give a longer life to the structures. So at present, the precast is only 1 to 2% of the construction. So I wish it will go to 60% of the construction in building projects. So that is my wish. I hope you all make it reality. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And we sign off from today's webinar, and we thank all of them and all the professions. All the
I
best.
also
Stay
thank
safe.
Ramco and Builders Association for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. And all the attendees, wish you have a good day. Thank you. Bye. See you.